All right, ladies and gentlemen, we're back for a new episode of the Just Noise Sports Show. And we want to thank everybody for tuning in, giving us all their love and support. Check us out on Friday nights on Anchor, FM, Spotify, Google, wherever you get your podcasts, all your favorite podcast apps. Dr. Producer, your favorite producer's favorite producer. And I'm in here with the crew, Juice Man, Coach DJ King Dre, Mr. Hurd, the Wild Card, and Big E. Pulling up on the sideline at the practice. Was good, fellas. Tell me something good.
God is good. God is great. It's a beautiful day.
Good to be back as always, man.
Always, right? Always. So it's going down in the NBA, huh?
Hey, I don't know what to say about the NBA right now. It's definitely making they are definitely making headlines. They're definitely getting people's attention. You know, this is still football dominated sport when it comes to all the major sports, but basketball trying to kick up a little dust right now, man.
Yeah,
Draymond Green is not taking the extension, man. That's interesting.
Yeah.
The question
see
is,
what's gonna happen with that.
Where could he actually go? That's the question. Where could he go? What if some kind of way he went down to Phoenix?
Phoenix?
Yeah. You know, him and KD ain't as bad off as people think.
No, I don't see that happen.
I mean, I ain't saying it's gonna happen. I'm just saying, what if some kind of way he went down to Phoenix? What if some kind of way he made his way to LA?
More than likely. Possible. Very possible.
Who knows?
Very possible Draymond ends up in LA. If I'm the Lakers, I wouldn't really do it. It says that they're looking at Buddy Hield and Miles Turner. That's the latest I got. And that's not actually a bad idea. That way you get to keep Austin Reeves. Buddy Hield's a dead-eye shooter. Miles Turner is another big body because at the end of the day, you're going to have to deal with Joker running with AD. I think they probably got Mo Bamba coming back, Hachimura, LeBron, of course. And, just running from there. But I don't see Draymond necessarily going to the Lakers. I see it as a power play, kind of like, look at what Draymond doing over here, man. He might possibly be getting ready to go to the Lakers.
He ain't going nowhere. I think in the end he'll end up back in Golden State.
Yeah, I agree. I think he ends up back in Golden State.
I honestly think he can't really play anywhere else, man. Like the way they use Draymond, it's just such a perfect fit for what he does. But I don't see him doing that with any other team. I just don't see it. I mean, because we see what he can do. Like he's a good defender, and he knows how to get his teammates involved. But Steph Curry helps him with what he does, and there's not a lot of Steph Currys out there. So I don't see him. I see him retiring as the Warriors.
Chris Paul. What you think about Chris Paul?
Chris Paul is out of there.
So he won't be playing for anybody. What you saying?
I mean, not at that. I'm not gonna say he's not gonna play anyway. He can still do a little something. His body just not gonna hold up, and he's too pricey. He's way too pricey at this stage in his career.
I agree with that too.
Yeah, I agree on that, man. I agree on that. He's gonna have to settle for the veteran minimum anywhere he goes, and I think he can find a spot on a roster and still contribute, but he can't be a high dollar acquisition. You know, they got to be able to build out the roster Got to have that depth on the bench, and he can't. There's just no way to afford him at even a $20 million a season. So he's going to have to look at taking a significant pay cut. And if you're doing that, you might as well go play for a contender. So, but yeah, man, I think the days of CP3 being the high dollar.
Looks like we're having some connection issues, but I think he was trying to say the days of CP3 being a high commodity and a high dollar commodity is over with. So what's up with Dame, man? Is Dame gonna get on up out of Portland, or is he gonna try to be cut from a different cloth and too loyal?
I think he should get out of Portland, get the hell out of Portland as fast as he can, or he'll end up like Kevin Garnett when he was in Minnesota. It's just not working. Portland hadn't done anything to put him in a better position to get him over the hump, and it's just not gonna happen. I don't see it happening anytime soon.
Yeah, I agree, man. If he wants to win, he might as well just suck it up and just don't worry about the noise. Don't worry about what people say about him moving. I mean, it seems like everybody's doing it now. So if he's worried about pushback from fans, he just needs to just ignore it and think about what's most important to him.
I mean, at this point, who cares about the pushback? I mean, LeBron's done it, KD's done it, KG did it. I mean, it's a whole bunch of people that have done it.
Yeah.
I mean, and clearly we saw that sometimes it works, sometimes it don't. I mean, it failed KD a couple of times. Brooklyn, Phoenix.
Yeah.
It failed LeBron.
Sorry about that, fellas.
Out to Dallas, so it ain't always perfect. KG, Paul Pierce, Rondo. Who else is over there? Ray Allen. How many rings they get? 1. So that recipe don't always pan out to 3, 4, 5, and 6 chips. So get the hell out of Portland, buddy. Did
you say something, Big E?
I said sorry about that. Can y'all hear me?
Yeah.
I got the storm blowing in where I'm at, so it's messing up my signal.
Okay, you kind of coming in and out, but
I know you got something to say about Paul George.
Hold on real quick.
Somebody, what y'all think about Paul George right now?
Yeah, they need to go ahead and just dismantle that Paul George, Kawhi. It's not working.
I never thought Paul George was a superstar, all-star, or none of that. So I don't see what you could get for him.
Yeah, man, I agree with that. They're just too injury prone to do anything with. You know what I mean? It's a shame because that team has so much upside, so much potential. But for them to, I just feel like Kawhi's just got that Brandon Roy needs, you know, and I hate to see it because he was such a phenomenal talent. Same thing with Paul George, man. I know he's had a lot of injury concerns too, but you know, at the end of the day, they've given it 4 years now. What else can they give it? You know, they're all in are on the down end of their prime. You know, so. If you want to run it back maybe one more season, I guess. But, I mean, you might as well cut your losses now the way it's looking. Because you're not going to be able to bring everybody back again at the end, you know, after this year, in my opinion. So,
what could they give for Paul George, though? Like, who really wants Paul? It's kind of like I see Paul George and Chris Paul on the same level. We've seen Chris Paul's story one too many times. He'll make it through the regular season, get to the playoffs, he's out of there. He's going to get hurt at some point. Whether it be game 3, 2, 4, 5, he out of there. So what you gonna get out of Paul George? Who would trade for him? Like, I don't see the value in him right now.
See, I still think Paul George got some left in the tank though. You know, because you gotta think it was just if you take last year away and you look at the year when they went to the conference finals, he was the guy that got him there. He was really the solo star of the team. So I think he's got something left in the tank. I'm curious to see how his health is, but if he's healthy, he's still a viable option to have on any team, I feel, because he could just score, he could defend. You know, he's got game that can still contribute to a contender. I think he might be looking to take a pay cut too, but, you know, at the end of the day, I still think that he's a viable option. Kawhi, that's a whole different story for me. I haven't seen Kawhi on the court really since 2019. You know, and when they won the finals in Toronto, you know, he had a couple of little runs with the Clippers, but they didn't do anything with him being available because he wasn't available. So at the end of the day, I think the combination of the two in LA was just not a success. I liked how Russell Westbrook looked in LA with the Clippers. I think that's something they should explore, maybe bringing him potentially back because he fit with what Ty Lue was doing. And I think Ty Lue knows how to use him effectively. But yeah, I think at the end of the day, it might be time to hang up that Kawhi Leonard, Paul George combination. I don't think it's going to yield the Clippers what they thought it was going to in the beginning. So.
Yeah, I know they definitely had big plans for Kawhi and Paul George and Pat Bev and that whole crew when they first got assembled. It was supposed to be the takeover of Los Angeles. And that just goes to show that you have a window, ladies and gentlemen, all the talent in the world. In most professional sports, you probably got about 3 years. And after that, younger, faster, attrition, injuries, more money or whatnot, something's going to happen. Just kind of reminds me of the Oilers right around 9-1, 9-2, 9-3. That window was there. They couldn't get it done.
Couldn't get it done.
Yeah, that was it. So real quick before we jump into some NFL football, I got 25 games. Real quick, fellas, enough or not enough?
Terrible. Worst damn decision by the NBA ever. Ain't no way in hell this guy should have gotten to it. They should have gave him at least 40. I'm going to go and keep it funky. They should have gave him 40. They should have set the bar high. You go back and look at how they treated Gilbert Arenas, how they treated Ron Artest, how they treated those guys for freaking fights. And it's suspended for the entire season, suspended for 78 games. Like, are you serious? And this dude got a gun.
Yeah.
Not one time, but 2 times. He got 8 games the first time and 25 the second. Come on, man. That's weak. That's weak by the NBA.
I'm gonna keep it funky as well. I'm gonna say they should have got 40. I'm gonna go with 40 as well. What about it, Juice?
I'm with you guys on that, man. You gotta set an example, and I think the commissioner's been way too lenient and too nice. He needs to send a message to Ja, and I'm agree with. I think it should have been at least 40 games.
Yeah, I agree. I think at some point in time, the commissioner is going to have to start being the commissioner of the league and holding people accountable and stop trying to be friends with the players. And I think this was a situation where he was being friendly, didn't really want to throw the book at him like he should have. But in my opinion, the first go-round on the video was way more egregious than the second. Because the second, at least he was in his own personal space when he did. He shouldn't have been going live with the gun. Absolutely not. But now they're retroactively trying to do something, and it's still not to the weight that it should be to set the example and to set a precedent. So now you got other athletes coming in thinking, okay, well, if they're getting their check up front and they want to take some time off, do something stupid, they get 20 games. It might miss a little check there, but I mean, you haven't put their livelihood in the play, and that's the only thing they're going to respect. So him missing 25 games, that's a total of, between the first suspension and this one, that's only a total of 33 games. Gilbert Arenas got suspended for, 55, 60, something like that. And his wasn't even video. His was just a rumor of what happened. Well, we know it wasn't a rumor. We know it was credible and people spoke up on it. But they just way too passive with it, man. And I worry about what kind of precedent that sets for all of the younger generation that's coming up that might be having the same kind of attitude as Ja.
That makes sense.
So, yeah.
That makes sense.
Let me say this though, Doc, real quick. Me saying him getting 40 games and thinking about what JJ Redick said about him not breaking any laws and anything, he did not break any laws. But as representing the Shield, for representing his job, you play for the NBA, you represent us. That's why I feel like he should get 40 games. And I think they're just being lenient, because of the organization itself too. It's bad for business and things of that nature. And that's one thing I like about baseball. Baseball don't give a damn. They don't care. They gonna lay the hammer. They gonna lay the hammer. Hey man, you do steroids the first time you get caught, 40 games. The second time, 88 games. Third time, the whole year. They don't care.
Yeah.
They don't care who you are. They don't care what type of player you are. Look how they did Pete Rose, man.
Yeah.
That's all I'm gonna say. Pete Rose, one of the greatest baseball players of the game. He ain't in the Hall of Fame. Period.
And he ain't hold a gun up for nobody.
Nope. He bet on baseball. It was against the rules. That they are saying no. Period. They don't care about how close he ain't getting in.
Yeah.
I would like to get in because, like, man, are you serious?
I got a feeling with the whole Ja Morant situation, they timed that out. So Ja will be back for the Christmas triple header when they play either the Warriors, the Nuggets, or the Lakers.
That's why I said business.
See how that
It was
works.
all business.
See how that works. But yeah, we're gonna jump right into some NFC black and blue lines and pairs and what else? Vikings and cheeseheads. Oh my, all that good stuff. Yeah, man, the Lions, they did their thing last year. They didn't make the playoffs, but they damn sure made sure Green Bay didn't get in there. So can you really knock them for that? They surprised some people. Justin Fields, I'm impressed by the young man, and it was kind of one of our heated topics that we was having at the beginning of the year.
I think that was more your heated topic.
Why were we throwing Trey Lance and Justin Fields under the bus after 4 or 5 games, and Trevor Lawrence and other quarterbacks weren't necessarily having good games? And then boom, all of a sudden, Justin Fields turned into Michael Vick and Fran Tarkenton right before our eyes, broke like all of Michael Vick's record, and he kept the Bears in a lot of games. They didn't win very many, but it showed that he wasn't trade bait or a bum or a bust, and he couldn't get it done. Out there in San Francisco, this is a little bit off the subject, and we'll talk about this more when we get to the NFC West. It looks like they're not sure if Purdy's going to come back. If it's good for the goose, it's good for the gander. If the man ain't ready and he already don't have a strong arm, why are you trying to rush him out there? The same way you snatched that job from Trey Lance because you ran him on a quarterback run and broke his ankle. Give that man a chance to go back up there and show you that he can get it done. I still think he can get it done. But yeah, Justin Fields showing out. I don't trust the Vikings. The Lions are still a little bit too young. Don't sleep on Green Bay. That's just my opinion, but I'm really impressed with what Justin Fields is able to do. Now they don't have Wilbur Marshall and Otis Wilson and Mike Singletary on defense. Matter of fact, nobody's there from that 2019 defense that had all pros all over the place. I don't think we got minutes left. I think Eddie Jackson's the only one left. But yeah, he's got receivers now. And Justin Fields shown that if you can get him in a position to where the quarterback is the odd man out, where you can't account for him and he can use his legs, Justin Fields got Pro Bowl written all over him. Stop counting these young men out so early. That's my take on it. Questions. The Bears win over or under 10 games? I'm going to start with Biggie.
Look like you're going to start with Mr. Hurd. I'll go ahead and tell you right now, the Bears are under.
You got the Bears over or under? I couldn't hear you.
I got them under.
You got them under? What about it, Juice?
I got under.
You got under 10 games? Big
Under 10 games, yeah.
I got them actually at 10 games. Yeah, I got them at 10-7. I think they're gonna shock some people. I think that conference is a winnable conference. Or division is a winnable division. Green Bay is a work in progress. Vikings you can never really trust. Detroit, I like their upside and where they're going. I like Dan Campbell as a coach. But I feel like Chicago's got the youth on their side. They got the most athletic quarterback who could be a difference maker. He's got a good arm and didn't get a chance to show it. So now that he has DJ Moore, and I hear their chemistry is off the charts right now. So Yeah, I'm looking for them to be at least at 10 games and to potentially win that division.
Well, I got a surprise sleeper for y'all.
Juice man, 10 games or under?
Under 10 games. You talking about for the
Okay.
Bears? For the
Yeah, Bears.
Bears? Yeah, under 10.
All right, I'm
Yeah.
gonna go with the Bears. I'm gonna go under. I'm gonna say they close. It's a
Oh,
winnable division, and I like what Justin Fields is doing. I think he's got Pro Bowl quarterback written all over him. I think the defense leaves a lot to be desired, and I think the offensive line still has a lot to be desired. It's a winnable division. I'm not saying they can't win the division. They can win that division with 9 games. But I think the Bears win 9 games. I don't have them at 10. I do not have them at 10.
my surprise sleeper pick is going to be the Green Bay Packers. Tell you what, man, looking at their roster, it's all young, it's all inexperienced, and you know what I see? Unproven talent trying to prove themselves. And when you put that on the field, you never know what you're gonna get. You got a bunch of people eager to be the number one, the number two, whatever,
Oops.
and they gonna bust their butts. They have nothing to lose. It's young talent. That's all it is. It's young raw talent. So it's like getting a kid who has nothing to lose and say, "Hey man, go out there and do your thing. Just go do you," and they go do them. So I think Green Bay is gonna shock that division, and I ain't gonna say they're gonna get first. I don't really know. It might be a little too early, but they will be in the top 2. Green Bay, Minnesota, unpredictable. They just lost they start running back, so that's definitely making it even harder. They got the wide receivers, quarterback super suspect as hell. The Lions, I think they're gonna be battling out with Chicago for that third spot, and I honestly feel like it's probably gonna be Green Bay 2, maybe the Lions at 1, maybe Chicago at 1. I don't really know.
All
Green
right.
Bay's my sleeper pick though.
Okay. What's the keys for success for a successful Packers season this year, gentlemen?
Well,
QB.
I think they need to support Love with their 2 running backs, Aaron Jones and AJ Dillon. I think
They did.
if they can feed them both, that'll keep the pressure off their defense because I don't think their defense was that bad. Um, I think they can. I think they'll finish probably. I say 2 or 3 in the division.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to roll with that exact same sentiment. I think you have to run with your veterans. There's not necessarily a Travis Kelce or a Debo Samuel or a Lamar Jackson, Cooper Cup, Joe Burrow type leader on that team that's going to be able to say, "Hey, young man, this is how we do it around here." So you definitely want to lean on Dillon and Jones. See if you can continue to develop Romeo Dobbs and Tunyon, the tight end out there. Lean on what you got. The defense actually was not bad last year, middle of the pack, kind of around between 12th and 15th ranked defense. Not dominant on a San Francisco 49 and New York Jet level, but the running game can eat up the clock. It's an old cliche, but yeah, you want to lean on those guys and see what can happen. I think a successful season for Green Bay is just to watch Jordan Love progress and see if you can add some pieces around him coming up and a couple drafts, get a couple free agents and make a run at it. I mean, at the end of the day, Green Bay got 2 Super Bowls out of Brett Favre and Aaron Rodgers, and they was there combined almost 30 years. So
Yeah, that's terrible.
that's I mean, those are 2 Hall of Fame quarterbacks, 2 of the most talented quarterbacks we've ever seen. You got 2 out of that. So maybe in 15 years or 12 years, Jordan Love will be training the next great young Green Bay quarterback to come through there. But I just say, just keep him upright, keep him healthy. And hey, I say 8 and 9, 7 and 10, but Jordan Love shows improvement. That's a success. You're not ready to throw the young man away. You just want to see that he can play the quarterback position and just don't put any pressure on him, and just have in his mind already like, look, you're not Aaron Rodgers, and don't try to be Aaron Rodgers, and run with that.
Hey, I got a question for y'all. The Detroit Lions have 1, 2, 3, 4 quarterbacks, right? Who's gonna be the backup quarterback? 2 of the 4 quarterbacks. Wait a minute. Oops, my bad. 3 of the 4 quarterbacks are technically rookies. 2 of them are rookies. One of them is a 6-year rookie. Who's gonna be the number 2 quarterback in Detroit? That spot is wide open. Nate Sudfeld is the next person with the experience, but he's got no playing time in 6 seasons. I think his QBR is 0.76.
I have no idea who you're talking about.
I don't know.
There you go.
I have no idea.
Exactly.
I have no idea who is going to be the backup quarterback in Detroit. What I do know is that they have a lot of young talent, and what I do know is that Dan Campbell is going to get the most out of what he got. And what I do know is that Aaron Rodgers is going, and that's a weak division, and Detroit can very well win 11, 12 ball games on paper. Now, they did draft Jahmyr Gibbs. They don't really have another running back. Swift didn't work out. They got rid of Jamal Williams. I can see Jahmyr Gibbs being kind of in that Alvin Kamara type role. Get him in space.
Wow.
We know what Amon St. Brock can do at the wide receiver position, and they're gonna fight you. Like, it's not really saying much because they didn't have a winning season last year, but it's not the same old Lions. But then again, it's the Lions, so I'm not gonna say that they're Super Bowl bound, but they're gonna fight you, and they could easily sweep Chicago, Green Bay, and Minnesota.
That ain't gonna happen.
That goes 6 wins right there. Get you 4 or 5 outside the conference. You could be looking at 11-6 record. But it's still the Lions, so we're just gonna see how this thing plays out. But I have them actually winning the division. So, question: is the NFC North, the black and blue division, right for the Detroit Lions to take this division? Big E, start us off.
Absolutely. I mean, they do have the most upside going into this season. So I mean, if I had to say a favorite coming out of last season into this season, it should be the Detroit Lions. They showed the most upside. They showed that they are competitive in the conference. But for me, I want to see Justin Fields do work. So that's the reason why I'm going with the Bears. But yes, they definitely have enough to take over that division and win 11, 12 games like you say. So it wouldn't surprise me if they did. So for sure, they ready.
Yeah, I'm kind of leaning towards the Lions winning the division. I mean, their offense won't be a problem this year. I like their draft pick, Jahmyr Gibbs, like Doc mentioned. My only concern is their defense. I mean, I know I was hyping up their first round pick, Aiden Hutchinson, because he was showing flashes, but they finished 31st in defense and scoring defense, and 29th in yards allowed. Their interior, the tackles in the middle and the linebackers were an issue. So they'll be able to score, but I'm worried about them being able to stop the other team. So I'll say I can see them finishing second again. They finished second last year. I see them doing that again, but I don't see them winning it at all. Division.
What about King Drake?
Hey man, I told you I don't really know who gonna win that division. I think it really is up in the air. I won't be surprised if Green Bay does win it. Like I said, I'm kind of sold on the whole we got something to prove over here.
Mm-hmm.
There is no real film out on these guys because they're all young.
Okay.
So they have nothing to lose. And I feel like Detroit is still Detroit. So
he's not gonna back up off that. And before we wrap this up, we're gonna go to the worst team in the division, the Minnesota Vikings. And it just amazed me that Kirk Cousins was able to fleece $40 million or whatever, $40 million a year out of the Vikings. And we saw what he did last year. It was like 4th and 12 season on the line. You check down to your tight end. That's just who he is. We saw that in Washington, and that's how he was able to put up 400 yards. He was getting beat 53-13 going into the fourth quarter, and the defense went to prevent. And you threw 3 late touchdowns when they had took their starters out, and you threw for 250 yards in the fourth quarter, and you threw for 400 yards with 4 touchdowns and 5 interceptions, and it looked like you were doing something. Yeah, and the defense has regressed. This is no longer the defense of 2019, 2018. Harrison Smith, who they have, Hendricks, Danielle Hunter, the defense, Grifferson. I mean, that defense is it's gone. We know Justin Jefferson. We know what Jay Jetter's going to do. They have another rookie wide receiver come in, and he's looking like he's out there to show out. He's like he's going to be a solid number 2 to go along with Jefferson. But, yeah, this is the most inconsistent team. I don't see them necessarily making strides on defense to do what they need to do to be right up in there. They were the worst division winner last year. They kind of the worst division winner. I'm not sold on Minnesota. Worst team in the division. They could possibly end up dead last with Justin Jefferson just doing what he do, going hard wild. It wouldn't surprise me if Jefferson put up 2,000 yards and 15 touchdowns. But yeah, I see the Vikings 7-10, 6-11 possibly. I got the Vikings finishing dead last in that.
I'm with you on that, Doc. I got them finishing last as well. I mean, they lost Dalvin Cook. I don't know about their replacement, Alexander Madison. I don't even know who this dude is. Kirk Cousins, we know he's a roller coaster of a quarterback. Justin Jefferson is elite, but he's gonna need help. And their defense is real bad in the back end. So I got them finished last as well.
Yeah, it's a toss up to me between them and Green Bay. Who's gonna bring up the rear? But if you ask me right out the gate, I'm gonna say it's gonna be Minnesota over Green Bay. I just don't trust Kirk Cousins. I feel like he's been robbing teams left and right. He robbed Washington, turned around, went to Minnesota, robbed them for some more money, and just hasn't really won the big game like he needs to. So he doesn't have Dalvin Cook in the backfield anymore. I think that's going to really hurt him more than help. And he has Justin Jefferson, but he can only do so much. So give me Minnesota coming in last. I like Green Bay with the nod, just because they're unpredictable. We don't know what they're going to be yet. I still give them a nod over Minnesota, and I got them pulling up the rear. I'd say 7-10. I think the division's going to be close, but I'd say they'll probably end up being 7-10 for the season.
Hey man, y'all said it all. I mean, it's nothing left for me to say. I mean, they got a crook at quarterback. They got an all world receiver with a zero running game. Yeah, that lack of running game is really going to expose him even more. So yeah, I'm done with it. Vikings just suck.
And he said he done with it. The Vikings gonna finish last. I think that is a raw flush that the Minnesota Vikings are gonna finish dead last in this division. I think next week we're gonna head on back over to the AFC to make do a little AFC West. See what's going on out there with Wilson and the Broncos, Patrick Mahomes, and the reigning Super Bowl champions, Kansas City Chiefs. Take a look at Justin Herbert. Those Chargers, Austin Eckler got his money. Well, no, Austin Eckler got franchised. He's looking for his money. And we're going to see how many games Jimmy G going to trick out for the Raiders and how fast he can run Devontae Adams out of Las Vegas. On another note, rest in peace. Number 53 for Sixburg, the black and gold. Clark Hagan's passed away. Details undisclosed at the moment. Inside linebacker, outside linebacker. Did a little bit of hybrid in for Dick LeBeau's early 2000s. Blitzburg, Steelers Part 2.
Hey,
rest in peace. Rest in peace.
Sir.
What are you going to say, King?
I was just gonna ask Doc if he wanted to make his predictions for Denver. Go ahead and get that out the way like he did.
No. Right now we just running through. Right now we just running through the divisions right now.
Yeah, I know.
Giving
I
everybody
just want to shoot a shot at it, that's all.
We'll jump more into the predictions and all that stuff. The closer we get to the season, we just trying to spread this thing on out. You know, like old prison spread for y'all. We got the salami over here, the peanut butter over there, and all that good stuff over there. Trying to spread out the division. We're gonna talk a little baseball. The Astros not looking good. The Braves dominating. It looks like that NL East over there where they at. So we're gonna spread this football thing out a little bit. Give you a division. We got 8 divisions, so I figure if we give you a division a week, that'll get us 8 weeks. Hey, that'll get us to the end of August, and then before you know it, we'll be there. So y'all stay tuned, and we appreciate y'all joining in. This is the Just North Sports Show. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share. Check us out every Friday night, 8 p.m. Anchor FM, Spotify, Google, and Apple Podcasts, wherever you get your podcasts. And we are out. That's a good run.